This man been in the hip hop game for a minute. He from my era. He's one of those that's seen this thing pretty much start from its inception to where it is now. So I think he definitely understands what's official and what's not official. We like authentic guests on this show. So, ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, I'd like to bring my brother on right about now. Let's give a Godcast welcome to my brother, DJ K Slay. Peace, God.
Peace.
How you be?
Just maintaining, staying sucker free, trying to keep the culture up, on the pedestal it belongs. It's not easy, but somebody got to do it.
Absolutely, and you've been doing it for quite some time now. How long you been doing your thing, guy?
I've seen it come into existence. I knew how to do the disco thing back in the days, the hustle and all that. So,
okay, talk to him. So
from that era right there,
came out and all that,
huh?
And when the Freak came out, was the dance and all?
Nice at that, man. That I was nice at the Freak.
Niggas don't know, Freak Out. Like that had a dance that went with it and all that.
Dance that came out, you know what I'm saying? Then but I remember the hustle thing. Like if you ain't know how to do the hustle, that was your way to get up on the chicks. You had to know how to hustle. Shouts to John Travolta. You know what I'm saying? Saturday Night Fever. Now people might clown that now, but back then, if you ain't know how to hustle, you wasn't getting no chicks, B.
Talk to him. Let him know. So I'm saying, like, how long you been doing your DJ thing? Like, I know. Okay, let's take it back. I know you started as a graffiti artist, yes?
I mean, to be honest with you, it was pretty much everything at the same time. It's just a matter of culture is a way of life. And every day,
I was one of these guys too, where I kind of was doing everything at the same time. Yeah. So tell me about it.
Yeah, culture is a way of life. So it's every day when we woke up, what we decided to do, whether we was going to go to the train yard, or whether we was going to bring the equipment outside, or whether we was going to throw our T-shirts with our iron on, letters of our name on it to go to the next project to break dance against them. You understand what I'm saying? Or whether we was going to play basketball, everything, or whether we was going to play run, catch, and kiss with the baddies in the project. It's like whatever we decided to do. So it was really, I was doing everything at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And it's pictures of me DJing when I was a teenager from Harlem, to the Bronx. And then the same thing with graffiti. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like I was doing one thing and jumped to another. I was doing everything tied into the culture at the same time.
What do you think you got most known for first, though? Like what did dudes really know? K Slay or Dez, what did they really know you as?
All right,
that's because dudes kind of is known as something. That's a breakdance dude right there. That's the DJ dude. Even though you can do multiple things, dudes might know you as this.
All right, so it's hard. Like if you was from Harlem and the Bronx, I was down with the Floor Master Tops. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody knows the Floor Masters. Those were like the older squad. That was like Ray Vaughn, Johnny Wah, for anybody that knows who they were from Magnificent Seven. That was their crew. Speedy, E-Man, Spivey. That was their breakdance crew. They was over this. Ski Jump. Those were like all the Floor Masters was on that side. We was like the youngest. The younger ones,
And you grew up on the east side of Harlem, which
east
is
side, from east side,
like, so
Spanish
that's
Harlem.
Some real breakdancing shit in itself. Puerto Ricans was getting busy on the breakdancing shit back in the days.
Of course, so that I was doing that, but then the DJ thing, I was nice at that, very nice. Since I was 11, I started. Say the time I hit 13, I was ill with it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So people knew me for bringing equipment out and DJing in the hood, you know what I'm saying? As well as shout out to my man G-Man from the Bronx, from Patterson Project. I used to go over there to rock with them, the Brothers Bass, out there in the park. There's plenty of them pictures of me on the internet with us out there doing our thing as well. And then with the graffiti thing, I was talented with the drawing and everything, so I was real known in that world too. It's kind of hard to say what people knew me as because everybody wasn't a part of every world. Like some people didn't understand a dude going to bomb subway cars and coloring the outside and all that. Some people didn't understand breakdancing. Like I'm a built with you on that when it came to my hood, breakdancing and the hip hop aspect of it. Because see, I'm from Spanish Harlem. The Spanish brothers and the black brothers, we fucked with each other, but it was 2 rules mostly. Don't fuck with Juanito's sister. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And you don't fuck with Derek's sister. Like,
right.
kind of like we fuck with each other, but that little barrier, your sister with a Moreno, you know what I'm saying, or vice versa, shit got a little touchy. So we all fuck with each other now. But what I will tell you is in the beginning, when hip hop first started, all us young brothers that was into it had hell. And when I say had hell, and this is why I'm a little bit compassionate with the young brothers that's coming up now doing what they doing. I don't knock them for doing what they know and trying to get out the hood and get their money. I just wish they would study the culture a little more, but we're going to get to that. When we first started doing the hip hop, the older dudes was like, yo, you better get the fuck away from here with that fucking bullshit. Or get the fuck away with that noise. But then we had the Latino brothers. I look at the Morenos cleaning up the floor. You understand what I'm saying? Like, boom. Then they had their bongos. They would play. We ain't want to hear that shit. They ain't want to hear. So it was like a little class we had with it being accepted in Spanish Harlem. Like, we had to fucking really struggle. Like, it was different. Like, you could go to the Bronx and it was like, yeah, like, you understand what I'm saying? When you got the Spanish Harlem, that shit was kind of divided. It took a while for them to really accept, hip hop. And of course, it wasn't even called hip hop at the time. So it wasn't even a name. You know what I'm saying? So it was hard for them to accept our culture. And we just loved it so much that we just kept doing what we were doing until the barriers began to break. You understand? So I'm from that part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got threatened and shit for banging my box too loud and having an Africa Islam tape in that motherfucker. Or a tape with Grandmaster Caz and flashing them from the Bronx playing by shit. Like, we got barked on for shit like that. Like, turn that fucking shit down, yo. Or go near the park with that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't even easy in the beginning. Like, a lot of people don't even know that struggle for the culture right there we all went through,
Now, I remember going to the shit back in the day. I think my man, wasn't it Cutmaster DC? Remember the shit on 3rd Avenue back in the days? Used to be an old like karate school or some shit. And they used to like have the hip hop parties.
B&B. Yeah, B&B. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ernest ran that spot. Rest in peace. Yeah.
Yo, now would you tell him like you had to be a real hip hop nigga to even know about that type of shit? Like, man, I was up in there like 16, 17 type of shit, like with older dudes and shit. My man was from Grand Projects and all that. My man Cameo and all, and my man, I believe it was Cutmaster DC. I want to say, man, the nigga that ended up making Brooklyn later. Like,
yeah, now I remember him. I don't necessarily remember him being in that spot, but everybody came to that spot. So I'm not gonna say it wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, them niggas was like throwing shit up in there, like on the low. Like,
it went down.
Yeah, all the time type of shit. That shit used to be popping like a motherfucker. And I remember that was on some east side, you know what I mean? Like, so at least y'all had some shit like that. I don't know what time that popped up. You might be talking about way before that, but
that was way before that. B&B popped up, a couple of years later on, but it was right in the same mix. You understand?
Right.
B&B, you definitely talk about that. Was one of our live spots that was at one point. It didn't matter where they harassed us at or whatever, this and that. Ernest had like clout in the community because he had a karate class as well. And he was the sensei. So being that he helped the kids, they would let him get away with a little more than Chuck Center, Clinton Center, B&B, Club Harlem World and all that. Like, he had a little more clout for if things happen, he'll still be open next week or the next week. And there wasn't no shutting him down, But yeah, that was definitely a spot that we did our thing out of all the time.
Yeah, shout out my man Ja Will, man. He used to bring me up in there. I was younger, shit. I was running with older dudes, and you know what I mean. They was putting me on shit like that. Yeah, man. So when did you like with all of this shit? I like to ask everybody, like, when did you go from being a fan of any of this to being a participant? You know, there's that point where you just looking at all this shit and you like, yo, that shit look fly, and then you like, I want to fuck with it. And but then the type of personality to like want to fuck with it all, because I fucked with it all. I fucked with graffiti, I fucked with DJing, fucking breakdancing, all of that. Certain things at higher levels than others, but I fucked with them all. Like when you feel like, yo, I want to just try all of this shit.
You know, I think it was just like it's hard to explain when you was right in the belly of the beast of it. So disco was popping, and then you just start seeing, because I would go, my mother lived in the Bronx, I lived in Harlem, so I had the best of both worlds. So I go to the Bronx, and I might go to Bronxdale Project and hang out with my homies and everything in King Mario Park. You know, you seeing cats doing the breakdancing thing and this and that. Now it's dabbing Harlem like this, but it's going off in the Bronx. And then you know what I'm saying, you seeing Flash and you see 18 Park, like it's going down a few miles away, but it's going down harder here. So it was just like, as soon as you see it, you're attracted to it because you're seeing your people doing it. You understand? And you feeling like, hell, if they doing it, I could do it too. So, I mean, everything I saw, I fell in love with it immediately. I went to junior high school 13, which is now known as Graffiti Hall of Fame. And I was also one of the co-founders.
Oh, wait, you went to that school?
I went to that school, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's right on 106, which 106 in Park. Like,
exactly.
Oh, right. They even had named the BET show 106 in Park. That's right there.
Yes, right there.
So, yeah, I went to junior high school 13, so I used to look out my window there in class and see some of the older dudes who had art in there, and I find myself ignoring the teacher and doodling on paper. You understand? Whatever, till, I went and got some spray cans and then would practice on the FDR Drive, because that's my project, East River Project, from 105th to 102nd Street. When you ride by the FDR Drive, that's my project right there.
We used to cut school just to go down there and just look at that shit.
Yeah. So bad that I went to that school right there.
Wow.
And then to later on, in 1981, being one of the founding fathers, where we named it, like I came up with that name, me and Ray Rodriguez, and I did the actual letters on the outside when we started the Graffiti Hall of Fame. Deuce did the Smurf houses. That's when the Smurf shit was popping. He did the Smurf houses with the Smurf. Volcan did the Plasmatics character and everything. So, pretty much everything I was right there for when it was going on. So, a fan, definitely, but more just in my DNA. You understand? Because as it was coming into existence, or it existed in my neighborhood, I automatically was attached to it. Like, I didn't have to wait later on. As soon as hip hop started jumping off, I seen it from the Bronx and Harlem. I was like, oh, I'm in this. Like, I'm in this. You understand? What we doing?